There are some companies that take their civic duty seriously. GE is one such company. They've been dedicated to veterans for years, and well beyond lip service and check writing. Joining me now is Lee Droog, a GE employee and a member of the GE Veterans Network. Welcome, Lee. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
I was intrigued as I was researching companies that were doing things around veterans issues to learn that GE had a Veterans Network. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that is and what the Veterans Network does at GE?
I'd be happy to. In 2008, Jeff Immelt actually pulled together the Veterans Network, realizing many of the skills that veterans bring to the table are very valuable and could help lead companies forward to the future to be very, very successful. So those skills would translate into broader organizations.
And so are people that are employees members of this network, and are they doing things to reach out to recruit vets, bring them in, do what?
Yes, actually we have a three-pronged focus on veterans and our mission. And what we do is we actually support, we hire, and we grow the network within the company itself. We have 10,000 plus veterans within GE. I'm very proud to report, with a goal of hiring at least 1,000 veterans a year for the next 5 years.
That's tremendous. So is there a particular area of focus that you personally are interested in with respect to the work that you do with veterans?
Yes, raising awareness, educating, and extending help for those who may be suffering from traumatic brain injuries and post-traumatic stress.
And are there some specific programs that you have helped GE put in place around that?
Yes, with the help and support of the leadership team, we have actually implemented and deployed training within our own organization to help raise awareness that PTS isn't just a veterans issue, but is a very important issue that not only has a short-term impact, but has long-term consequences for those who may be suffering as well as their family members.
So are leaders, managers inside GE experiencing this training that you've created?
Yes, I'm very pleased to say that we actually had a successful pilot last year where we rolled this out in one particular business. What clearly came as a result of the training itself was this isn't just about understanding what post-traumatic stress is. It is an obligation as a company, as a community, to extend help as quickly as possible by recognizing the symptoms, by reducing stigmas that may be associated with post-traumatic stress, and making sure that we support our own employees in our communities.
What was the biggest aha for people who attended that program?
I think the thing that's an aha for most and the most shocking is 1 in 4 veterans will either present with symptoms immediately, or as our statistics have shown us, it can take up to 30 years to present themselves.
30 years?
Yes. So you may have a traumatic event and actually deal with it quite well and be able to function in your everyday life and be gainfully employed. But it may be something else that would be very stressful, losing a job or having somebody who had a chronic illness or some other stress factor that we would consider a part of daily life or part of life that may trigger an onset. And recognizing and getting that help for that individual is very important for the company. And it does, like I said, very long-term impact for our community and our healthcare system.
So there must be some reason why you chose to get involved with PTSD and traumatic brain injury. Tell us what that is.
Yes, you know, the first thing that was astounding to me was 22 veterans commit suicide a day in the U.S.
22 a day.
Which is shocking. So that was the first part of my journey, understanding that and wanting to understand more. But as I learned more about what post-traumatic stress was and what it wasn't, how it related to traumatic brain injury, how we were seeing in our Afghanistan and Iraqi veterans more incidents of mild traumatic brain injury due to multiple deployments, as well as IED blasts, it really helped me connect. This is not something that we're just now realizing. We just have never really been able to identify it and study it as accurately as we have been able to recently. So it's been known as shell shock or soldier's heart, a number of names. But post-traumatic stress, as it relates to what I understand it today and how it relates to my family experiences, my dad being a World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam vet, actually had it, but he managed it very well. He did not talk about it, as you'll find with many veterans that are very self-sufficient and resilient. They don't talk about things that may be bothering them or come forward to ask for help. But growing up, I did realize that something would occur or happen that wasn't quite normal. For example, my dad would have nightmares. I'd wake up and he'd be kicking the wall, and my mom would try to wake him up. That was part of how I grew up. But realizing now in this opportunity within GE to understand it more, that he did have issues he was struggling with, and how that impacts not just his life, but also his family and the people that are very close to him.
So I would imagine that the work that you've done inside GE to bring attention to this, and especially to help managers and leaders understand the signs and symptoms of it, has had at least one positive side effect, and that is that they're probably better leaders as a result of learning this information.
Yes, I would hope that, and that is our goal. Our goal is to extend this education so our leadership team can be more supportive, can understand what may be happening in individual lives, so we can really foster a workforce that can be their absolute best.
Tell the viewers a little bit about what they can do if they're part of an organization, part of a company. What are the kinds of things that they can do to bring attention to veterans' issues and to support veterans?
I think the most important first step to take is to garner leadership, senior leadership buy-in, as we call it sometimes, and get their support. And that's very important. If they understand the impact that this has to a long-term success of a company as well as to the communities, then you'll get that support. I would also encourage anybody who's thinking about starting a program like this to really follow what's your passion is. So mine happened to be post-traumatic stress TBI. Others, it may be hiring. For others, it may be supporting and growing the network within or combating homelessness. But making sure that you're passionate about it will really resonate as you talk about it. You'll really get that excitement across your broader audience as a result of that.
Which will engage others in supporting what you're trying to get them to do.
Absolutely. And have your facts, do your research. If you don't need to be an expert. I am just an average person with a little bit of medical background who happens to be passionate about this. But if you want to make a change, you can.
You're an average and very extraordinary human being who happens to be an altruist, builder, and a healer. You too have taken the Passion Profiler, so it's no surprise to see that altruist and healer really deeply connecting with the pain and challenge that these veterans are in, and there's no surprise that the builder came in and said, I'm going to do something about it. So kudos to you for doing something about it, and thank you so much for being here, and thank you and thank GE for all that you're doing for veterans.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about this.
A pleasure. It has been an extreme honor and a pleasure to spend time with the amazing people who appeared on today's show. They give me hope that the issues that are surrounding our veterans can and will be solved. And I've learned that there's no secret formula. The magic for all of them was in taking personal responsibility to do something in their own special way, to contribute. I would love to hear what you're doing in your own communities, so I hope that you will log into our website at www.mypassionality.com and join us in our viewer forum. Most of all, I hope that the stories that you've heard today will inspire you to use your passions to make a difference in your own unique way. May today be the day that the journey to finding your passions and living your bliss begins. See you next time. Passionality has been sponsored by our friends at Simply Centered, the source for current information on health and well-being that you can trust. Find them online at www.simplycentered.com.
And Zen-Yoga at the Loft. Come get your Zen on with Power Hot Yoga. Find them online at www.zen-yoga.com.